Tell us how both of you got involved with this project, and I'll start with you, Joshua.
I got sent the script, which I read. I was like, oh my God, somebody wrote a script that's for adults and that's beautiful, and then found out quickly thereafter that it was actually written for teenage kids, but very much tapped into the teenage girl inside me. I read the script and felt deeply connected to these people, especially the parents. Mm-hmm. I'd lived in Seattle actually in the early 90s, and a lot of the musical references and the cultural references were very familiar to me. And then just who Denny is as a person, which is kind of, a guy with his own hopes and dreams, and he's kind of cool, and at the same time is really able to make his kids and his relationship with his wife more important than any personal desires that he had. I just love that guy. I want to be that guy. Mm-hmm. I really, I related to the aspiration of wanting to be him, and I felt like, I felt like I really had something to bring to it. So then I met with RJ, and the rest is history. And then I got to meet this one, which made the experience deeper than I ever could have imagined to begin with on page.
Yeah.
And how about you?
Well, I had been, the work that I had gotten to do for the past few years has been quite dark, and so I had been saying to the universe, please, 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 can I do something positive? Can I do something with joy? Can I do... And then I got the script. And she's so awesome, Kat, she has definitely had this kind of rough life history, and out of that she just she chose happiness, and she built it. She built a family that she wanted, and her life could have gone another way, and I just thought it was she's so brave. To choose happiness is not always easy, and she's this funky girl, and she's able to mother Mia, these two completely different women, in a positive way without trying to change her, trying to set her on her road. And anyway, it was magical, and so I really hoped that I would get to be a part of it, and then I sat down with RJ, and that went beautifully, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. Play very, very cool parents in this. Can you tell us a little more about the family dynamics with the kids, a little bit about those characters?
The true ones or the story ones?
This story ones.
The story ones, okay. Well, what is true is we fell into it really easily. Chloe is delightful, and our little son, Jacob, thank you. They're both these wonderful people, so our natural dynamics as a family felt so easy, right?
I think we were making fun of each other within 34 seconds on set. It was immediate, where we were and the way you do with family, you're ribbing each other, but there's love behind it.
Yeah.
And
Chloe,
it was just easy.
It was really easy. Chloe told me that I was a little dog who thought she was a big dog, which is
totally
which
true.
Is true about
which
me.
Is completely true about you.
And she called me on that immediately. So anyway, I think the actual dynamics of the movie family were true about us. We really dug each other and had fun with each other, and were pretty honest with each other, and asked for what we needed, and danced in the kitchen even when the cameras weren't rolling. And
how important was music in this film?
Music's the language of this film.
Yeah, music is very much music is the air that these characters breathe, I think, and so much of a connection, I think, specifically between my character Denny and Chloe's character Mia. Even though they live in such different worlds, and their tastes and their aesthetics are differently, and she's much more of a mini adult than I probably ever was. I think Denny sees in Mia what a continuation of what he wanted to be as a musician. I think she's better than he ever was, and as opposed to being threatened by that, he's completely inspired by that and wants to nourish that and foster that.
Yeah. RJ had us all over before we started shooting, and he had this incredible cellist come to his home and basically give us a cello concert through the history of the cello. And we all sat in this living room and were, as close as you and I are to this cello, and we got so filled up with the music, and that was like our launching ground for making this film, being so full of those sounds.
Now, was the music in the film that your characters had the history with, was that music that both of you were familiar with in your own world, or did you need to do a little research on some of the punk music or the playing the drums, or?
Yeah, I gave myself a crash course in punk. I went and caught all of these CDs and would listen to it. And also cello. So I would be driving around my little 4-year-old, and one day we'd do cello and one day we'd do punk, and she'd tell me like what she liked. And it was great.
Oh my God, that's such a cool experience for Vesper to have.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I grew up listening to punk, so a lot of that was familiar.
Yeah.
But also RJ, he made us a playlist of the 100 best punk songs ever written, and gave it to all the members of the cast. So we were all walking around bopping to our little iPod shuffles, listening to the Germs and the Ramones. And
That's great. Now, this story gives people a lot to think about. I think whether you're young or you're old. What do you feel the theme or the message is of this film for anyone that watches it? Joshua?
I think the tagline "Live for Love" does a pretty good job. This film to me is very much about. Denny has a line in the film. He says, "Sometimes you make choices in life, and sometimes choices make you." And life's going to happen no matter what, for good or for bad, and we try to judge that as little as possible because we can't control it. But at the same time, what we can do is try to stay in the moment and appreciate what we have when we have it, because we're not promised anything past this very second. And I think that's really what Chloe comes up against in this film is looking back and going, I have lost so much, but look at all that I still have. And love never goes away. It's not a finite entity. I think the love for her family, as well as the love for Adam, is something that's completely inside her and always will be.
I was struck again when I read it, but then when I watched it, I was struck again by this idea that life is so messy and there's so many owies you're going to get along the way, and yet there's miracles at every turn, and that it takes bravery to stay, but that it's worth it because of the miracles.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you guys did a great job.